All right, I'm going to say greetings. All praise due to Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. This is the Soul School channel, and I'm your host. The brother like no other, Elder Black Light. With the flavor to save you and the kind of knowledge that you won't get in college. Coming to you live from the 313 in the lakes, Detroit, Michigan, aka New Mecca Temple number 1. New Mecca Temple number 1, where Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad founded and nourished and grew the lost foundation of Islam, also known as the Nation of Islam. The truth should be told and not sold. Why am I doing this? Because I'm a FOI, a soldier in the Nation of Islam. My duty is to unite my people, black people, and protect the women and children of my nation. I will perform my duty faithfully, regardless to whom or what My life and my death are all for Allah. I will be loyal and obedient to the Supreme Being, Allah, in the person of Master Farah Muhammad. He has authority over me. To him, him alone, do I submit. I fear none but Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. And I'm asking him to guide me on the straight path, on the path upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, and not on the path of those whom thy wrath hast brought down, nor on the path of those who go astray, especially after they have heard thy teachings. Discipline, it compels the habits of obedience as the unit moves together as one. I'm glad to see you joined us today. And the subject title reads today, The Seventh Trumpet, Strategy from the Originator. Strategy from the Originator, the Asiatic black man, the black god. Where do I get my subject matter from? I got it from Revelation. Revelations. Revelations 12:7-5 from the King James Version of your book, the Bible. We're going to be covering that all the way from the lakes, the Great Lakes, all the way to where you are. Detroit, aka Temple Number 1, New Mecca, where Henry Ford was building cars. And he wrote the book, The International Jew. All around the same time that Master Farah Muhammad was coming to Detroit or was in Detroit. It didn't make itself known until the year 1930 in Detroit, July the 7th. And I repeat once again, the subject matter is the seventh trumpet. I said July the 7th, I meant July the 4th. And July is the seventh day. And I'm reading from Revelation, the seventh trumpet. I'm just going to brief you on what we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to try not to be too long, but I want to be too strong. We're also going to be talking about or finishing up on the spook who sat by the door, because there are some things that I want to point out to you in that book. It was written by Sam Greenlee, but we're going to be reviewing the movie, The Spook Who Sat by the Door. We started on it, last week. And we're going to go a little more on it tonight. And we also going to be talking about war. And I'm going to show you what Revelations revealed to me through the scriptures of what phase we are in the day of judgment and the war of Armageddon. War moves from the originator. Allah and the personal master Farah Muhammad is in effect today. Just look at the entire USA covered in ice, tornadoes. We want you not to forget Maui and how mysteriously Maui almost burnt up. They don't talk about that no more. We're going to peep into the enemy's camp. You know, fighters, they when they getting ready to challenge and promote a fight, they want to see if they could beat their opponent. So they may go to their opponent's fights, or they may go to the training camp. And the fights, going to your opponent's fights, a lot of times is more better because he's not going to show all of his arsenal during training camp. But in a fight, you know, he might have to show all of his arsenal. And you can see in a real fight the weakness, your opponent's weakness. And once you figure out that you can beat him, well, you know, it's on. You're going to challenge him to a duel if he don't switch up on you. A lot of fighters they know how to switch styles, you know. They can fight any kind of way, a variety of different ways. That's like man plans and Allah plans. And certainly Allah is the best of planners. And he knows already that he can beat Israel. Israel say they are the chosen people. Yes, Israel, you are the chosen people, chosen to be the only people to be chosen by the originator, the creator, to be destroyed by the supreme being in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Because we had peeped your moves, Mr. Devil. And you were chosen to only be here for 6,000 years. You were chosen to be destroyed in the beginning of the seventh day at the end of 6,000 years. And it looks like that time is up. My people, black people, were allowed enough time to escape the wrath of Allah. So Allah came to prepare Elijah, Muhammad, to be the messenger and to prepare a way before him. And I'm getting all this information out of Revelations. Now, a lot of y'all, ain't paying no attention to me. Y'all might not like my delivery, but let me tell you what's happening in the world, especially in the United States, with the enemy. I peeped his whole card. This is what he's doing. As Allah is escalating his chastisement, Biden sold out to the Chinese a long time ago. That's why COVID creeped in over here. They said it came from China. That's why you got a whole lot of Chinese illegal aliens, or you might say they say it's over 1 million Chinese over here has been coming over here through a separate way. They're not coming the same way that the others are coming over here. So-called illegal aliens. But don't forget the Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, especially the Mexicans, they occupied California, Texas. Anyway, a lot of them are Native Americans. And the Spanish gave them their language. The conquistadors gave the Mexicans the language of Spain, Spanish, which is a form of Latin. And all these Chinese are already here. And they haven't been examined by the army or nothing because of the open borders, which was planned. And then you got the migrants, I don't know if that's the right word for them. I think the right word for them is invaders, alien invaders, like something from outer space, you know. But I think that's the proper word is invaders. The borders has been breached, and you got invaders that were really they are proxies. And we talk about that word proxy. They are being paid to overthrow America and to make the black man their slaves because they're not paying attention. They're still deaf, dumb, and blind. So they're gonna be put into that slave role, providing they don't wake up and unite. A lot of you think I'm crazy. You're laughing at me. You know, there's a conspiracy theory. No, but you being rocked back to sleep through the word woke. You woke in your nightmare. That's where you woke at. You woke in a nightmare. You awoke in a nightmare. You slept on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and you woke up in a nightmare. And the so-called breaking down revelations, I'm going to summarize some of it. I'm going to read later on. I'm going to go into Revelation and read some of it, but they are fighting in the so-called Middle East, and they shall be victorious. Like, you know, I'm gonna go into it and show you. Just hang with me. But after they are victorious, the black man over here in America, we are next to fight the dragon. The serpent has grown into a dragon, and the black man war moves from the originator shall overcome the dragon. So we peeping into our enemy's camp, and we done found out his weaknesses. His number one weakness is he was made to be destroyed. Yeah, Israel, you are the chosen. You are the chosen to be destroyed by Allah. But then Uncle Sam is flooding the USA cities with migrants or invaders, migrant invaders. A lot of them are proxies. The pandemic diseases, infiltrators and the transporting of goods and the resources is being slowed up. The weather is slowing up a whole lot of transportation of goods. That's going to drive the prices, inflation up higher, and prices up higher in the supermarkets to get goods, because those brothers over there in Iraq and all around there, they fighting this war at a very slow pace because they don't want it to escalate into a nuclear war, because they know what's happening. Now, the only ones that's kind of shaky is Saudi Arabia and Egypt. But Allah has a plan for them. And United States thought they could whoop Iran. But in order to supply Israel with weapons and stuff, Israel got to reach out because they landlocked too. So they got to try to go all the way to the sea. So they want to wipe out the Palestinians. So they get the edge on the waterways, and they're being blocked. So United States eventually, Afghanistan gonna be in it. There's gonna be a lot of Muslim countries. What they're gonna do is make all of the Muslim countries mad, the righteous ones, Turkey and Afghanistan, and Afghanistan already fought them to a standstill, and Biden gave up a bunch of weapons to the Afghanians. He probably made some kind of crazy deal. Well, what are the other weaknesses that America has? All his resources are going to be contaminated. The weather's going to knock out a whole lot of resources here. And the migrants are going to be sabotaging all the infrastructure, power grids. They're going to get to the grids, power grids, blow that up. I mean, they're coming over here by the millions, y'all. They're going to cities like New York. Why? New York is a port city. Chicago, LA, and Texas. You know, they're port cities. That's why you got the train wrecks. Airplanes can't get off the ground because of the ice and the weather, icy weather. They can't transport that way. So they got to go by sea mostly. And when they enter into the hot zone, no devils allowed. Detroit is a key city. Michigan is a key state. That's why Master Farad built temple number 1. He built a fort. And temple number 1 was supposed to hold its ground. And it's 77% black in Detroit, aka New Mecca, Farad City. That's right. Mecca Farad. And it would behoove all the other temples to occupy Michigan. Michigan got the fresh water. We occupy Michigan, and we can control Canada. Ain't no stopping us now. We on the move. Because it's coming from me. I'm compelled to tell you this. I'm inspired to tell you what I'm telling you. So let us read something to let you know what time it is. Let's go first to, I'm going to King James. Let's see where I want to go first is, we're going to the 7th trumpet. That's in Revelations 12. We're going down to verse 5. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. Now that right there is talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And they're using she or effeminate because the Nation of Islam, the FOI, the military might of the righteous Asiatic black man, was born by the messenger of Allah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But Master Farad put the seed in the mind of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the woman fled into the wilderness, talking about the wilderness of North America, where she has a place prepared of God that they should feed her there 1,203 days. And there was a war in heaven, and Michael and all the angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Now heaven is over there, what they call the Middle East, but it's really Africa and really Asia. And that's, Mecca was where uh, wisdom and knowledge, the birthplace and the best part of the planet. That's why they over there fighting, because it's something over there that we might not even know about, but we know it's plenty of oil over that way. And the Saudis control that. So and the great dragon was cast out, and the old serpent called the devil and Satan cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So they're gonna cast out Satan from. The devil gonna get kicked out of trying to get in over there in the so-called Middle East and Africa. They're gonna cast him out. He's gonna come back to America. He's gonna take out his frustration on the poor black man and woman. And I'm gonna read it. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Number 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now come salvation, and now is come salvation, excuse me. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. And the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. Christ being Elijah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. God being Allah in the person of Master Farah Muhammad. For the accused of our brethren, the accursed of my, man, let me read that again. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and the strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which is accuse them for being our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe is to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you. Talking about us, black man and black woman, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time. That's why they call the devil a race. We are not a race. The original Asiatic black man is not a race, but the devil is a race, because he's a race of devils, because he only has 6,000 years. and his rule to rule us, and his time has come. You see? And then we're going to go to 16 and say, and he gathered them together into a place called, in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, it is done. And there were voices and thunder and lightning. Yeah, we heard that on the other day on one of my videos. And there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake, and so great. And the great city was divided into three parts. The great city, talking about America, talking about the United States of America, was divided into three parts. And the cities of all the nations fell. The cities of all the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Talking about what's happening now, y'all. Then we're going to go to 17. And there came, we talking about, we in Revelation 17, first verse. And there came one of the seventh angels, which had the seven veils. You know, that's all we've been seeing is seven. Young Elijah Muhammad's birthday is October the 7th. Master Farad came the 7th month, July. Detroit is born in July, the 7th month. Detroit, the letters in Detroit is 7 letters. The area code adds up to 7313. I mean, man, we could go on and Master Farad's birthday is 1877. Nothing but sevens, man. I mean, if that's not a hint that we in the 7th day and the white man's time is up. Well, what was I at? Okay. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. That's what got you into trouble, America. You tried to spread your legs to sit upon many waters, fornicating with everybody. That's why you call it the great whore. You spread yourself too thin, man. And when the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of fornication, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast,
full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. 7 heads and 10 horns. Horns represent power. 7 heads, I guess that represent heads of nations or somewhat like that, you know. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornications. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So we're talking about Babylon, the United States of America, and you see what type of trouble they're in now. Starting with Epstein, Biden's is in trouble. He done sold us out. His son, crackhead son, was getting paid good, got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Biden is they what they did for Biden is they gave him a whole lot of prescription drugs. He might have been a crackhead with his son, but I think they gave him some prescription drugs and hypnotized him. Yeah. And that's why he be, appear to be, he's sedated. They just sedated his ass. Because, no telling what he might do or say. And no telling how long he been like that. So we're going to stop it right there with the reading. So we're making it plain for you and, telling you that we're getting all this from Revelations, the 7th trumpet. We're going to go further into it with each passing day. And say once again, yes, Israel, you are the chosen people, the chosen to be the only people chosen by God to be the originator, to be destroyed. You will be destroyed, Israel. And Babylon is Greece, Rome, Spain, Israel, all those are Babylon. And England. But the United States is chosen to be obliterated from the face of the earth in the lake of fire. You say, well, why did Elijah Muhammad, why did he want to separate and get land here? Because Allah will bless our land wherever the righteous, wherever they settle at, it'll be holy land and bless by Allah. You say, well, how's he going to destroy, you know, and leave? Well, how he going to do that? Is he going to destroy and leave some part destroyed and some parts of the United States untouched? The Supreme Minister John Muhammad told it to me like this, told it to us like this. He said, haven't you ever seen it rain on one side of the street and not on the other? I have. I seen it raining across the street, but where I was standing at, it wasn't raining, it was sunny. So we talking about Allah, y'all. So y'all can't see it, see? Y'all because don't too many people say it the way I say it. And I hope I'm not confusing you. I'm hoping that you can see through revelations, you know, compare it with now. See, most people ain't comparing what's happening now in the Bible. They're not comparing it with the day-to-day activities of what's going on the planet. Because a lot of you ain't really paying no attention. At least that's what they make it appear to be. Because I know when I turn it on conventional TV, regular TV, when I go off of YouTube and I turn on channel 7 and channel 2, channel 4, you know, they be talking that same old stuff. Like ain't nothing happening. They be going along with their shows, you know, that they've been showing, reruns, Star Trek and Perry Mason and, you know, Big Valley, you know, soap operas. They be keep on showing that. And they be so cheerful when they, you know, when they talk about, you know, when they go to talk shows, they be so cheerful. They say, oh, yeah, they didn't kill the hell out of them people over there in Palestine. On a lighter note, we seen a puppy walking across the street and took a leak on a man's pants. That man was embarrassed. You know, I mean, stuff like they go to some silly stuff. You know, they don't tell you all the news. They give you headlines. They reading off a teleprompter. And the deaf, dumb, and blind think things is cool. And then about 10 days later, they leak something out that happened maybe 10 days before they leaked it. You know. So those of you that when you get this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell and share it. Now that we done peeped the enemies count and what's going on right now, what you got to prepare for, you know, we're not going to go into everything right now, but we got to let you know what's going to jump off. And we're going to Revelations to show you that. This right here is the mother plane. It's the mother plane right there. A lot of people seen it. I know I seen one of the baby ships, you know. I seen one of the baby ships when I was about 12. I was cutting grass, and my next door neighbor, he was quite a bit older than me. His name was Luke. And we was out there cutting the grass together. I had a push mower. That's how long ago it was. I had a push lawnmower. And he did too. And so I looked up, I looked up in the sky. It was a bright sunny day. And I seen this metal object shining, man. I thought it was a star. It was a blue sky day, wasn't no clouds in the sky. I thought it was a star, and it was moving, kind of funny. And I watched it. I stopped cutting grass and looked at it make maneuvers. It was making maneuvers that no plane could make. And looked like it was talking to me, giving me a sign, spelling out something, like a bouncing ball. And I looked over at Luke, and he was just busy cutting grass. He didn't even notice me looking, standing still looking. So I say, Luke, you see that? And I pointed at it. And it didn't go nowhere. It stayed there bouncing, like a bouncing ball, real bright, man. And it wasn't that far away. And Luke, he looked at it. He said, yeah, I see it. And went back to cutting grass. He wouldn't even look no more. And I looked. I stayed there, and it did it for a minute. It did its thing for a minute. Then it took off and disappeared in a flash. Another time I seen it, and it was real close this time. I was catching the bus, came from rehearsal. So I had a band and a bunch of vocal, we had a vocal group and a band, and we rehearsed on 8 Mile in Greenfield, in back of Jack's car wash, about 2 blocks behind Jack's car wash. We went to catch the bus, me and some of the guys. We standing at the bus line, and we was catching that Greenfield bus to Grand River. And as we was waiting on the bus, I seen an aircraft, hovering over the building that we was rehearsing at. And a friend of mine named Garth Gabriel, he's a reverend now, Garth Gabriel. Later on, he had a candy, it wasn't a candy factory, but it was a candy distribution center. He was distributing candy to the public schools so the children could sell it, Remember when they said no? I think they still sell candy at the schools. Well, he was a distributor of that. Later on, this was way later, and but the building that he was distributing, it was around. I say next door to the building that we was rehearsing at. And anyway, the fellas, I was trying to tell them. I said, and it wasn't that far away, and you could see details in the spacecraft. It was a small one. It wasn't a mother plane. It was like a shuttle. And I told the fella, I say, y'all see that? And they looked and stared at it. I seen them looking at it for about a couple of seconds or so. Then they said, no, I don't see it. I said, oh, I'm crazy, huh? They said, yeah, I guess so. you know. I mean, we was high though, That's when I was singing and stuff. I was high, So I said, they might be right. But I know when I was 12, when I first seen it, I wasn't smoking or nothing. I didn't start smoking weed till I was 18. And my singing group, they used to get high all the time, but I was the only one that didn't get high. So they told me to try it, and it didn't affect me. So I said, man, ain't nothing wrong with, I ain't, and because I didn't even smoke cigarettes until I was about 18. After I got through smoking that weed, I started smoking cigarettes. Anyway, I smoked the joint. I mean, yeah, a little bit. And I said, man, it don't do nothing to me. So they plotted. They said, okay, cool. So they plotted, to get some potent weed. And they was determined to get me high. So they said they got the weed. I don't know where they got it from. But anyway, it was from one of the singers, from one of the guys in my group. One of his girlfriend's father was selling it. And he brought it around to rehearsal. And they told me how to smoke it. And I started coughing. And after I got through coughing, I was on cloud 9. They said, that's how you smoke it, Coop. They used to call me Coupe de Ville. So anyway, Coupe de Ville is the old name of the Cadillac. So to make a long story short, when I was 12, it wasn't no illusion or nothing. I seen it. And I was talking to Mrs. Gabriel one day, maybe about a month ago. And she said, I think she said her son seen the mothership. He didn't see no shuttle. He seen the mothership. A lot of people seen it. And I think that they are Seventh-day Adventists. Some more sevens. Man, I don't believe in coincidence. But if you want to call it a coincidence, you can call it that. But if you want to call it a figment of my imagination, a figmentation of my imagination, you could call it that too. But I know I wasn't the only one that seen the mothership. I mean, some people call them flying saucers. But anyway, we're going to get into the spook was set by the door. And we're going to read some more from Revelations another day. But I just want to go back a little bit before we go to spook was set by the door. Just want to go back and tell you how Babylon the Great is falling. And then we're going to read from the Bible on another day. See, in Revelations, it gives a description of how no one will buy from America no more, or the Mystery City Babylon. You know, they can't sell nothing no more. They're gonna be, because of this war. Like America's backing Israel, telling the people on one side that she's trying to make Israel stop bombing, killing her people. And on the other hand, it's sending taxpayers money to aid Israel and not Palestine. And the rest of the countries are getting mad. South Africa, they're getting angry or sympathetic towards killing all them babies, and women. And other countries are getting upset. So migrants are over here by the millions, occupying buildings in Chicago, occupying buildings in New York. And New York, they used to sell slaves on the auction block on Wall Street. And they call New York Jew York. The other day they seen Jews got tunnels, had tunnels, man, underground tunnels. And in LA, we know that the Jews run Hollywood. They try to deny it, but they run Hollywood. And California been hit hard with fires, forest fires, with droughts. It's a slowly but surely Allah is chastising. Now in Detroit, yeah, we didn't had a whole bunch of freezing weather, but we didn't had that before. But this is a long spell, and it's just in January. We got February and March to go. And we don't know if it's going to end. But we not hit hard yet, Detroit. Not as hard as some of the other parts of United States. Because again, I say Master Farad came to Detroit first. And I'm in Detroit, in the 313. And I want to unite my brothers and sisters here. Now, everybody ain't got internet. All black people don't have it. A lot of black people can't afford iPhones, and so they can get YouTube. So you gotta kind of like pass it on to them, you know. Else they're gonna be trapped in thinking everything is everything. Everything is everything. Everything is gonna be. But you don't want to get rocked to sleep. You got to prepare for this. So the reason why I'm highlighting Spook Who Sat by the Door is because I want to point out some things that you need to know about doing urban warfare, because it said they're coming over here. The devils, after they kicked him out the Middle East, after he get through over there, he coming over. He coming concentrating on here, and he got all his people in place, you know. And Trump, we can't let him off the hook because he sold out to the Russians. You know, they pointed it out. The Democrats pointed it out, but they don't have as much proof, you know. And Trump, where do he get all this money from to stay out of out the court system? I mean, how is he fighting? How is he in the court system? Where do he get the money from to fight the court system, and still campaigning? I mean, some of them Texans got, they paid, but Texans they don't want to be a part of the United States anyway. They still fighting the Civil War. And the Spanish-American War. I mean, and the Alamo, what you call that? The Alamo. They still remembering the Alamo. Yeah, I guess the Spanish-American War, I don't know. Anyway, let's get over to Spook Who Sat by the Door, then we're going to call it a night.
checks on his activities and associates. I'll telex the Chicago office today. Dan, we really got our work cut out for it. One of the baddest young dudes in Chicago, if not the country, operating right here in our territory, the King Cobras. I used to be a cop. You? Yeah. They used to call me Turk. That gang goes back for 40 years. Listen, do they still hang out down at that, what is it, Pit? Yeah, you can find them there any night. Except now they own the place.
Y'all remember the Blackstone Rangers or the L Rookins? Well, this is just my reasoning. I believe that Sam Greenlee influenced the Blackstone Rangers into becoming the L Rookins. And I also believe that he had some critical teachings from the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Hello, Miss David. Oh, Mr. Freeman, hi. Why don't you join me? Good. Listen, that looks good. It is delicious. Try to try some. Miss Dugan, how's your son Shorty doing? Oh, Shorty's doing just fine. He got a job now, making good money. In fact, he just well lives on the television set. Well, I hear that he's not only running numbers, pushing drugs. Hey, he's hooked. No, he ain't no real junkie. Sure, he shoots up now and then. But I don't think he got no more than about a $20 or $30 a week habit. And that ain't no habit. Well, did you ever think that he could end up in jail? Unless somebody turned the heat on in the precinct.
See, a whole lot of mamas was like that, is like that. Their sons putting their life on the line, and they know this, but they get, keeping mama in luxury.
And then I can't hardly see why they'd be after Shorty, because he ain't into it that much. Shorty ever think about finishing at least high school? No. He don't want no parts at school. You know how them teachers are. Well, without an education, what's he going to do? Mr. Freeman, you know ain't nothing out there for us.
Now, my mama, she wouldn't go for that. Like I told y'all, she kicked me out the house at 16. And when I went out there in them streets.
Another health insurance commercial, another aqua aerobics.
Yep.
Right out there.
They got us, cut in on that. When I went out in the streets at the age of 16 and seen how rough it was, I went on back to school. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you ain't got to use it for the devil. You can use that education for your people. That's why I'm up here right now. Doing my thing. Got this soul school for the original Asiatic black, the young ones. Trying to school you in the right direction.
No streets were Shorty. How you doing, Shorty? Hey, Ted. I just saw your mother inside the restaurant. Yeah, I just saw him on the way down and lay some bread on. Shorty, word is on Vine that you're not making your pay off to the cops. That's just the rumor, Ted. You mind if I give you a little advice? No, go ahead. Why don't you just quit dealing all together? Oh, man, you know I can't do that, Ted. It's survival. You ever stop to think what would happen in these streets if we cut off the flow of drugs altogether? White folks control your neighborhood through drugs and you dealing. So what you gonna do now? Give me a sermon? No, sermon, Shirley. I just thought I'd ask. This hour table. I want to talk to you. No talk. Social worker.
Now I'm thinking this is the L. Rookins. But I really want to point out this white-looking brother. This brother right here, Freeman, is going to use this white brother. His name is Willie. You know, he's a brother to, he reminds me of Master Farah Muhammad. But Master Farah Muhammad is the supreme being, but Master Farah's father orchestrated the whole putting together, because they said Master Farah's father was jet black, but he married a white woman. Now his father's jet black, I'm assuming. Because he calls himself a nigger or black.
You better split. You know why? Yeah, flunkhead. We know who you are. Let's go out in the alley. This won't take long. You don't want to go out there, man. That's the way you want to go. Right now. Yeah. Next time, social worker. We have recipes too. Shut up. And listen. Big time badass cobras. Popping away at the pigs from the rooftops doing riots last summer. Oh yeah. I know what you was into. With 22 rifles and pistols. Did about as much damage as a mosquito to an elephant's ass. What'd you expect to hit from that range with those weapons at night? You might as well have thrown the damn pieces at the pigs. You really want to mess with Whitey? But I can show you how. I can show you how.
Now the FOI, hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, was their thing. But every black man and black woman need to know the art of self-defense. And we'll tell you the rest in a minute.
Trust the wires to make contact. And throw the switch. Come on with it. Come on with it. Bring it on here. Easy. Easy now. Take your time.
You need to know all what you're about to see.
Touch it off. All right. I'll operate the ignition by remote control. Now. Get out of here. That's it. Keep your elbow up. The other elbow on. That's it. Parallel. That's it. That's it. Go on. What's wrong with it? You don't mess around like a high school chemistry class. Man, anybody can make explosives like this. Okay, Willie? You go order some plastic and detonators from Marshall Fields. Everything on this table can be obtained easily from a drugstore, a hardware store, or medical supply house. If we can get sophisticated equipment, we'll use it, but we don't rely on it. We live off the land. We match technology with spontaneity and improvisation. Men against machines, brains against computers. Now, if you don't think it can work, you check out Algeria, Kenya, Korea, and Annam. Can you dig it? I understand that. That's cool. You found out in the country how difficult range estimation is. But in the city, the problem's simplified. A city block is 250 yards north to south, 150 yards east to west. And lampposts are a standard 30 yards. So we got reference points all over. Right. And since the buildings act as a funnel for the wind, you can fire on zero windage. Now, run it down to the sniper teams, and I'll be in my pad all night if you need me. Cool. Okay.
How's the new job coming along?
It's, all right.
All right. The word's out in the grapevine.
Now, this is what messed Freeman up. Freeman had a bunch of women, wasn't married to none of them. But his main squeeze, what you see looking at him, is going to betray him. But when the best one out of all of them that he was messing around with was the hooker. The hooker, he changed her, and you'll see that later on. She gonna help him, because she's spying on the CIA, who's spying on him, and she gonna drop a dime to his best friend, which you're about to meet in a minute, whose name is Doss. Doss is a cop, a black policeman. Matter of fact, I think he's a captain in Chicago police. They're going to end up in a fight with each other at the end of the flick. And he's going to have to kill Doss because he's so dedicated to the white man. Like she is. Now, she got 2 or 3 cats she mess around with. She going to marry one of them. You'll see.
And how much money you making?
Well, nothing's changed about the gig except the bread.
But I used to know you when you thought making money was obscene. Making a contribution was your thing.
Well, there's no reason why I can't do both.
That's what I used to try to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. Since the war on poverty, all the social workers are making money.
Everyone except Paul.
Now, that's the old ad. But you have changed. Maybe I should have waited.
Too late to talk about that now. You already have a husband.
Yeah. After a fashion.
This is fornication.
He goes his way, and I go mine. By the way, Dawson's back from California.
Joe? Excuse me. Okay. Excuse me. How you doing? Okay. This is Peter Dawson. Anna Sylvie. Oh, yeah? I came down to see you. And we're going to have a break. Can you get over with us someday? Well, if you can, okay? Come on, guys. How come you always offer to pay me like the 50 you owe me when we're about to be stuck up? Because I'm good to you. Trust me. Hey, listen. Hey, okay, what do you got? Cognac.
Now, see, I want to point out that Dawes, him and his wife is on the getting ready to separate, who you see there. And they separate because he's a cop, a black cop. But Freeman, he could have been a FOI, but he was talking about Shorty selling drugs, and he in drinking booze. He in there drinking liquor, fornicating. So that's the one power that Freeman lacked. The power of righteousness and morality.
So how you been, Dougie? Okay. Joy tells me that you in California?
Yeah, I conducted a 15-week seminar on inner-city riot control.
What's that?
Well, it has to do with the Chicago Police Department's approach to street gangs.
And they sent you?
Oh, better. 5-year war with the Apaches.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, this is an ex-hoodlum turned cop. Here's to the friends you discovered and the new ones.
tell me about this new job.
The next stage of your training program is to learn how to steal. Yes, sir. I know you're all experts in stealing from your black brothers and sisters. Now you will learn how to steal from the enemy. Remember, a black man with a mop, tray, or broom in his hand can go damn near anywhere in this country. And a smiling black man is invisible. The president of Chicago Edison's collective pipes. Stud, you will rip off the president's pipes while he is in his office. I want to talk to you, Willie. The brothers tell me you're right.
Yeah?
Good. We need a propagandist. So you're the Minister of Information.
Now that's the role I'm taking. Propagandist and the Minister of Information and Communication.
I want you to set up a group and use whoever you want.
Okay. What you want, like posters, music, poetry?
Anything. Just as long as you talk to the people in the language that they understand.
I know about 6 of the cats I can use. You know, it's a lot of waste of talent, the Cobras.
Good, let's use it. And give me an outline in 2 weeks.
1 week now. I ain't no problem.
Beautiful. I understand you're still registered at the university.
Well, you know I gotta take a few courses each semester, man. Keep that bread coming from home.
You ever intend to get a degree?
And now what do I need with a status symbol?
That's all it is to you.
For a black man in this country? I mean, now what else is it?
You know my grandmother learned to read?
No, huh?
Along with me. You remember those reading premise?
Dick and Jane? Yeah.
When I first got into those books, my grandmother used to wait for me to come home from school so she could help me with my reading. And she would follow the whole thing, line for line. And one day, I don't know why, I just read a line wrong. And I realized she couldn't read. And I went into the bathroom and I locked the door. And I cried. And every day after that, I ran home so my grandmother could help me read. And man, the first time I saw her really read, get your education, boy, she used to say. Because that's the only thing the white man can take away from you. And she was right.
No, I can't figure you.
What's the figure?
I mean, what are you in this for? You want power? You want revenge? You know, what is it?
It's simple, Willie. I just want to be free. How about you?
So do I. And I hate
White folks. Hate white folks. This is not about hate white folks. It's about loving freedom enough to die or kill for it if necessary. Now you're going to need more than hate to sustain you when this thing begins. Now if you feel that way, You're no good to us, and you're no good to yourself. You ever kill a man, Willie?
No.
I have, in Korea. And when you spill a man's guts in the gutter, you see how fast he disappears, unless you like killing, and I don't think you will. Now, some of the Cobras will. Stud will.
Why Stud?
Because he's a killer. He doesn't know it yet, but he is. I have another job for you, Willie.
What's that?
We need money. So I have a bank job cased. The only thing about it is I can't have the job connected with the Cobras.
How are you gonna do that?
We use Red Beans, Benny Rooster, Paul Monte, JT, Johnny, and Tom. And you lead the team.
All the yellow niggas, right? Look, man, I am tired of that. I am not passing. I am black. Do you hear me, man? Do you understand? I am black. I'm a nigga. Do you understand me? I would.
Now, this is another thing that this is the difference between him being a black man and Master Farad. You don't need to steal, because that's one of the commandments, right? So Freeman is taking the route of that the white man would take. And if you know anything about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he wouldn't steal. Or kill only in self-defense.
I was born black, I live black, and I'm gonna die probably because I'm black. Because some cracker that knows I'm black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
Stick up. Put your hands up. Move. Get on the wall. Get on the wall. Get up. Now, move. Put your hands up. Hands up.
Chicago police are seeking 6 heavily armed men after a daring daylight robbery today of a southwest Chicago bank. Bank authorities estimate the theft to be in excess of $300,000. The men have been described by eyewitnesses as 6 Caucasian males between the age of 20 to 30. Police warn that these men are armed and dangerous.
We play these motherfuckers for $100. Recruitment and training group ready?
Had their final exams last week.
Transportation set?
They make 2 moves before they reach their final destination. Check for tails along the way. Pick up instructions as they go along.
Logistics?
There'll be $500 in new identification papers waiting for them when they reach the other end. After that, they live off the street.
And when they get there?
Locate and identify a gang like the Cobras. Set up training, a chain of command, organization, and a very tight discipline.
And?
No junk.
Good. I want the men assigned to Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Detroit, New Orleans, and Los Angeles to move out within 10 days.
Man, they got some bad brothers in New Orleans.
You got that right. And stagger the rest of them over the next month. There'll be monthly reports until they make contact and weekly reports after that. Now, if they get busted in a street hassle, they recruit in prison and we replace them. Any questions?
Go, Malcolm. Go to the basket.
Hey, man. I just got off duty, so I just stopped by. It's beautiful. Hey, Joy.
Hi, Pete.
Now, you know what? She kind of secretly, she dig Dawes. And Dawes kind of dig her. She gonna bust him. She gonna bust on him to him. But watch how he looks at her.
How are you?
Okay.
How's family?
Oh, just fine. Just fine.
Good.
Hey, Freebie, I think my oldest boy's gonna be an athlete.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, man. You remember the move I used to make coming off the baseline?
Yeah.
Well, he's got it, man. He's got it. The head, the shoulder, thing, and everything.
First thing he run to.
Man, I didn't teach him that move.
First thing he run to is that alcohol. You see? But the movie reflects how we done got hooked into the white man's world.
So I went to the game the other day, and there it was. Reminded me of myself 20 years ago.
I'd like to see that. Next time you go to the game, take me along.
That's a bet.
Okay.
How's Arlene?
Just fine. She's back in school at nights, and she got a master's last year. Now she's going for a PhD.
Any chance of you two getting back together again?
I don't think so. I mean, it's not easy being a wife of a cop.
Say, hey, Jug's in town. How about us catching a set?
The three of us? Like old times?
Hey, I'm sorry, but I have really got to go home.
Oh, boo.
Listen, we'll make it early next week, okay?
Okay. Can't cut her loose, can you?
No. And she knows me too well.
Okay. Have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
For me?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Talk to you later.
Muslim women wouldn't have did that. I don't care how friendly, how much you know the cat. But she all over the place. She finna go home to her husband, messing with him, and then she gonna bust on him to him. That's what messed Freeman up right there. Discipline of a moral character. A FOI soldier would have had those things. Now, I ain't saying all of the FOIs like that. But back in the day, the majority was.
Listen. Yeah. Listen, let me get this coat on. We go down, maybe we catch 2 sets.
Okay. Then we have a nightcap and a late dinner at the Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Then we cut out all this fooling around and go see these 2 chicks that I came over to tell you about before I found out the job was there.
Yes. Splendid.
See some more chicks. They finna go and see some more chicks. That's what messed Samson up.
in an underground organization when the first and second in command are either killed or captured. Daddy?
Each man is trained to handle positions 3 steps ahead of him in grade. The operations officer moves up and takes command, and everyone else moves up 2 grades.
Good. Now, we're almost ready.
We ain't no junkies.
Now, and everybody gonna think you are. You put needle marks in your arms and you keep them fresh. And no pig is gonna bust you for the things that we'll be doing as long as you got those tracks.
You're right, man. Sure the hip, man. During the daytime, we be nodding. Nighttime, we get out there and do it.
We are gonna get our own. Stop begging for crumbs.
How?
What we got now is a colony. But what we want to create is a new nation. In order to do that, we got to pay a different kind of dues. Freedom dues.
Yeah. Right on.
Now I heard, don't get me wrong, y'all. I love Melchizedek, Supreme Allah. But I heard him say, and take a vacation. We can't take a vacation until we built that new nation. Melchizedek. Assalamu alaikum.
According to Mr. Charlie, we have never paid any dues. You dig those plantation movies on television?
Yeah.
No chains, no whips.
Yeah.
Bunch of happy darkies just waiting on Master Charlie and his family and digging.
Like it's fun.
Lordy. It's Colonel Beauregard come home from the war.
My faithful retainer, George. The war is over, and we lost. You're not a slave anymore, George. You're free.
Free, Master? Is that bad, Master? I gonna die?
You're free, George. You can leave the plantation.
I want to stay with you.
But I can't pay you, George. The carpetbaggers mortgage the plantation.
Oh, don't let that worry you none. Well, I wouldn't know what to do with no money. And don't let that mortuary thing worry you either. Everything's gonna be all right.
Bless you, George. George, sit down, George.
Master.
You have just played out the American dream.
Yeah.
And now we're going to turn it into a nightmare.
I am very excited to sit down today and listen to
Mitski's brand new album. Tay Swift. New jeans.
Pesa Pluma.
Now, this right here, what they're doing takes nerve to go up against the army and the police. Very few people got that kind of nerve. But you got to have that kind of nerve if you want to survive and govern your own nation. Now you see, that's what organization do. You know, when you organize and everybody, you know, is playing their part, you'll be successful.
Open the door! Please open the door! Please open the door!
Pigs!
Will you open the door?
This one's off duty, lady. Can't you read? Take the next one. Now, let's see what we got.
Oh, wow. Man, what a ripoff.
You know this gonna make the headline.
No, it won't hit the papers at all. Might give some other people ideas, but this place will be swarming with CIA and FBI.
We go underground?
No. They'll be looking for everybody except us. You see, this took brains and guts, which we don't have, right?
Hey.
Move it out.
Some of the boys is 1-8 for the draft, man. Now what we gonna do if they get caught? Go underground?
Yeah. If they can beat it, they should. But we recruit every non-vet we can get. Right now, I'm trying to recruit Dawson as a double agent.
Turk, you really think we can win?
In guerrilla warfare, the winning is in not losing. When you sleep on the floor, you can't fall out of bed.
Then what we trying to do, man?
Fight Whitey to a standstill. Force him to make a choice between the two things which he seems to dig most of all. There is no way that the United States can police the world, can keep us on our ass too, unless we cooperate. When we revolt, we reduce it to a simple choice. Whitey finds out he can't make either.
Well, the Cobras is ready. What about the other brothers and sisters out there on the streets?
Their choice is when we start. If they don't follow our program and turn us into the cuts, we lose in a week. But if they support us,
Yeah.
then it's hit and run, harass and hound, and we can paralyze this country.
Yeah, right. Training done started already in 9 cities. 5 groups is combat ready. Plus us.
Right. And by next summer, we should be able to hit the 10 largest urban complexes in the United States.
So my brothers and sisters, we're gonna talk on this for a minute, and then we're gonna get out of here. There's quite a few things that you got to look at when looking at this movie. You got to look at the flaws, and you got to look at the positive. They're showing you what to do and what not to do. You never seen none of the Cobras getting high though, drinking or nothing. I didn't hardly see him smoke, but one I seen one guy smoke, but and all of them seemed fit. There wasn't no fat cats, no fat dudes in the Cobras, not real fat. And you didn't see him hanging around no chick. Only one hung around chicks was Freeman. Freeman, he was the only one that they just didn't show it, but I know they got some chicks. But Freeman, man, every scene he had a different woman, you know. But morality is this right here, which I'm about to explain to you. What's the difference between democracy and dictatorship? Democracy make it seem like dictatorship is a bad thing. But in the beginning, Allah or God or Jehovah, or whatever name you want to give him, was a dictator. And he had laws, unspoken laws, that you were to go by, that were part of your DNA. Now, the only way you could have broke those laws is someone alter your DNA. Now, I ain't saying we was 100% righteous, because the Elijah Muhammad said that there was a scientist that wanted everybody to talk the same language. And when he couldn't have his way, he blew half the earth up. That's how we got the moon out there. And another thing you got to remember, if he blew the moon away and we got lucky and stayed on this side of the planet, and the uncivilized, or the not the uncivilized, but the unsatisfactory people, they was dissatisfied. They was on the side of the moon. The earth didn't look the same after that. So when we talk about the Holy Land, we don't know how large it was before the moon, before the scientists blew the earth into the moon, well, broke it up into the moon. So talking about dictatorship, there were 24 scientists. That's where you get the 24 days from anyway. The supreme being was a deciding factor. And his word was final. He was 24. At one time it was 25. Now it's 24. And the 24th is the supreme being. So it wasn't exactly no dictatorship, but it was governed on 24 scientists. And the 24th scientist was his word and his laws was not to be broken. And I heard Reverend Geno Jennings, I heard him say that we were born in sin. Because partially he's right, but not exactly. That world that I'm speaking of, they called it heaven. Now, when did that world disappear? When Yakub created the devil and created this world called America. And you're born into America, you're born into sin. But before that, before you breathe the air of this world, you were born into unrighteousness, but you had to be righteous to be born. If that make any sense. So if we would have followed the laws of Allah, there would be no need for democracy. So democracy means you're not, and then when they say separation of church and state, that means that you're separating yourself from the God, from Allah, or from Yahweh. And there's no need to vote if you keep in tune with the true and living God. There's no need for politics, really. There's no need for policemen, no need for armies. That's when you're truly in heaven.
Yeah.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Looked like a riot when it started, man. Pigs burned together.
Who?
Shorty Duncan. Yeah. After all the training, looks like the shit's gonna start over a jive-ass bushes.
Where?
Alley behind the pool hall.
Nothing moves till I give the word, right?
Right.
Okay.
Where you going?
Cop shot a kid. Looks like it could be trouble.
Don't get involved.
Gotta go. Don't worry about it.
She's supposed to be at home with her old man, with her husband.
How things look? Not good. You're blowing your time.
Anything we can do to help?
Just what you've been doing. Talk to the kids, tell them to cool it. They'll listen to you first.
Hey, Frank, what about the kids?
Everybody's pretty uptight, dude.
Go down to the drugstore, call up the office, tell the night girl, round up all of the street workers and get them down here quicker. Then join me, all right? You got it.
Assalamu alaikum.